So I have built a little test circuit to show how the Leon board works. I have simulated everything on this little board. Here is a motor. We start it by hand. Here is the connector that is on the motor control board. That is the connector coming from the CPU to the ADI board. This section simulates the ADI board. The red LED shows if the ADI board has power. And here we simulate the playfield a bit. Especially here is the switch. Means the ADI switch. And these two yellow LEDs, they show what the CPU can see from the switch. Means if the switch is closed, means when a ball is rolling over the ADI sensor board. Now the ball is rolling. CPU detects, switch is closed, a ball was rolling over the switch. So here we have the situation how it is normally wired. When the motor starts and the ball rolls over the switch, you see, nevertheless, the CPU can detect a ball. And that is the great problem we want to prevent. With this little switch, we can simulate the reverse direction of the motor. Now it runs counterclockwise. You see, we must prevent that the CPU can detect this switch, means the ADI switch, when the motor is running. So it is in the original version. What shall we do now? Here's the first prototype of Leon's board. These two cables are provided with the board. You see? So, what we do now, we connect the wires from the motor control board and connect it here to the Leon board. Then we connect this extra wire here and connect it to the motor control board. Second, we disconnect the cable, this cable, from the ADI board and connect it to the Leon board. Okay. Then we take this new cable, connect it to Leon board, and then to the ADI board. Okay, what we can see now is the following. You see, One moment. You must see the red LED. Okay. You see, if the motor is not running and the ball rolls over the switch, the CPU can detect the switch. AD board is active. And now we will do the following. We start the motor. You see, here is the motor activity LED. And see here, the red LED goes off, showing that the Leon board disconnects the power to the AD board, but you can see it here. We simply disconnect the power to the AD board. It goes off. And now comes the important thing. You see, motor does not run. CPU can detect the switch. Now we run the motor. You see, even if a ball rolls over the switch, the CPU cannot detect the switch. Motor stops, switch can be detected again. Motor starts, no switch. AD power is off. Okay. And that was the first version of the Leon board, based on the idea to cut the power to the AD board. Now I had some discussions with Sasa, and we spoke about that. If it would not be a bit better, instead of cutting the power supply, we should better cut off the switch signal from the AD board. Maybe if you cut the power supply, that could result in not wanted pulses from this board. And now I will demonstrate you how this will work. You see, I built a second prototype board, but this board does not cut the power, but simply cuts the signal lines from the AD board. Okay, we connect it again. Okay, I must change these jumpers for test purposes. Okay, now we will see what happens. Motor is running. You see, green LED goes on. I will reverse the direction. You see, red LED goes on. So now comes the important thing. You see, motor is not working. CPU can detect the switch. And you see, here's the control LED to the switch matrix. That LED lights up if the switch is detected. Okay. And now you will see the difference to the first board. We start the motor. And now you see, we can do what we want. The CPU cannot detect the switch. But what is the difference? With the first prototype, the red LED went off because we cut the power to the ADI board. And now look here at the second prototype where we cut the signal lines coming from the ADI board. No switch can be detected, but power is still on the ADI board. We do not cut the power, we simply interrupt the signal lines. Motor stops. You see, CPU sees the switch is closed. Red LED on the second lay on board shows switch is closed. Motor reverse direction. Switch is closed. ADI board is power. We start the motor. No switch can be detected from the CPU while the motor is running. So, you see, we now have these two prototypes. Both boards will go to Canea in the US today, so we can test these two boards in a real machine. Okay, that was it. I hope you now can understand the problem a bit. Oh, I forgot one thing. One moment. Here is the extra cable with an LED. You can connect here for some lightning effects. And I hold it here with my hand. You see, when the motor runs. Oops. What happened? Yeah, when the motor runs. Yellow LED goes on. When the motor rounds counterclockwise, red LED goes on. Next, motor is running. No switch can be detected. ADI board is still active, but no switch can be detected. I think the second version is a bit better, but it must show what tests in the real machine will show. Okay, that was it. Thank you very much.